Hello everyone, my name is Tucker, and welcome back to our Russian Fishing for Spin Fishing character. So at the end of last episode, we did acquire the float fishing, or the feeder fishing starter kit. I did put worms on that. Now before you get concerned, no, I'm not changing to feeder fishing. Feeder fishing is just going to be used to help supplement spin fishing. If I have a fish on my spin rod, I will not sit it down to pick up the feeder rod if there's a fish on the feeder rod. So definitely just supplement the income a little bit and try and get 2 or 3 rods down at a time just to help make some more silver or give some options at night when spin fishing is not as reliable as it is during the day. So with that said, I do kind of want to get a little bit more equipment for that. I would like to get a bigger hook and some different baits, but figured let's give it a try. Let's set up and see what we can. So this does come with a 3.8 kilogram max friction brake. This reel can be upgraded to a 5.4 kilogram max friction brake for about 20 silver. With that said, it's also a 4,000 size reel. Our spin rod cannot support a 4,000 size reel. It can only use 1,000 or 2,000, and most light or ultralights can only use 1, 2, or 3,000 reels. So we cannot take the reel off of our bottom rod and use it on the spin rod. So I'm going to come down here. We're right next to the camp. 119, 119. Going to put a 13 meter clip on here, and I don't think I've talked about clip in the spin fishing character. That means if I cast out, I will only get to 13 meters from where I'm at. If I go as hard as I can, it will stop at 13 meters. You still want to get pretty close, and that was actually pretty much perfect. You saw at the very end how it kind of flicked down. You still want to get pretty close to where you're casting at, just because otherwise you're wasting energy. Or you could get to basically put a little bead on your fishing line, and you can get to a point where you'll just get stuck and flip backwards and not get to where you want to. So put a 13 clip on here, and we're going to go ahead and just cast out here. I did not put a clip on the spin rod, so the spin rod went further than 13 meters. And we'll just see what happens down here. I don't have the bait I want. I don't have the hook size that I'd really want to be fishing here. But we'll see what happens here, at least on the feeder rod. I think we'll still get some options here on spin fishing. I'm hoping to get some chub on the feeder rod as well too, but with the size 14 hook, that's actually a pretty small hook. I'm not expecting to get much. And we've got worms on there right now instead of crickets or grasshoppers. So today's goal is to make some money so that we can buy better baits, better hooks for the feeder rod. I did take a look at the cafe before I started. There are 2 perch orders out there. One of them is a small perch order, and the other one is a big perch order. So both of them are 5 fish. The small perch one is 50 grams, and the big one was, I want to say, 300 grams. So as you can tell, we've got a pretty decent fish on both rods right now. So the bottom rod, the bells jingle to let you know you've got a bite on. It actually may have slipped off, or it may just be kind of laying there. We'll see. Yeah, it's still on. But like I said, we're going to focus on spin fishing. If I've got my spin rod in the water and we hook something on the feeder rod, I'm going to keep fishing on the spin rod. And so far today seems like it's going to be a successful day. Did not like how much slack got in there. So the bottom rod will kind of automatically hook the fish, and especially with better hooks. Right now we've got entry level hooks. With better hooks, you're very likely to keep the fish on the line, even not doing anything right now. So I'm not keeping tension on it. The fish is doing that itself. When it's slack, yes, it can still slip off, but that is what it is. But you saw I didn't have to reel it in. I threw it in the water. You can press Y as in Yankee to tighten it up. The fish is even jumping out of the water. You can press Y as in Yankee to tighten it up, and then once it's got that tension on it, basically there's a sinker that will sit on the bottom of the water body, and the hook will then float from there, and the fish will latch on and hopefully stay on. This one's a pretty good fish on the spin rod. I did not turn the friction brake up, I don't think, on the bottom rod, so it only has a 16. I don't hear it clicking like I do the spin rod here. So I don't think the fish on it is pulling, but that rod has a stronger friction brake than this one does. Or that reel, sorry, has a stronger friction brake than this one does. Yeah, I'm hearing it pull. Come on, fishy. This one feels like it's about 2 to 3 kilograms, which would be nice, if not bigger than that. I think it's I think it was a chub when I saw it jump there, but I'm not 100% sure. Actually, I think it's an asp now that I got it above water here. .6 kilogram chub. Nice fish. Yeah, so I'd left this on a 16. So even if it was pulling drag there, I don't think this is as big as the fish we just caught. But whew, nice fish. 1.1 kilogram chub on the bottom rod. I think a chub becomes a trophy at 4 kilograms, so still have a ways to go. But if you think about it, this reel is a 3.2 kilogram reel. The rod is a 3.9 kilogram load capacity. Our line is 3.1 kilograms. So pulling in a 3.6 kilogram fish on that equipment is definitely a bit of a struggle. So very happy about that fish. Very happy that the bottom rod seems to be working as well too, because here's another roach, which I'll take roaches as well. Really, I'll take any fish I can get right now. Today should get us up to level 11 if everything works as expected. And I think during that fight, it looks like I got an in-game message. So that's what the little envelope in the bottom left corner of the screen is. I'll look at that off camera. But so far, this 119 spot is doing pretty well. I need to turn the friction brake down on this rod just a little bit. I like to keep it about a 20. That way, if something big does grab it and pull really hard, really quick, you're not likely to break the mechanism in your reel. So, kind of my next thoughts are I want to get some bigger equipment for the bottom rod, maybe get a second bottom rod, and then start looking at upgrading our spinning rod. Our spinning rod will work at Belaya. I've done a lot of testing on another character and have been pretty successful using this exact setup up at Belaya. And to really get a better setup, we need 600 to 700 silver. So having a second feeder rod to help supplement the income from spinning would be worth it. Looks like a lot of people are pulling out some good chub in this area. But I'm still very happy about that 3.6 kilo chub. That's probably a 20 silver fish. And that's just a guess. I know a trophy is around 40. Almost so excited there. I was pressing Q instead of W to take a step forward. So that's part of the fun of the game is you never know what you're going to catch. You could pull a trophy chub out, or you could pull a tiny chub out every time you cast, or nothing at all. So this is a small fish, might be a marker. Definitely less than a kilogram though. It is a marker at least, so happy about that. And I left my email client running. So I'm going to mute desktop audio, close the email client. It does a Windows blong, and I didn't want to put that in the recording. So that's done. Back into the game. So for me, it's early afternoon on October 16th. Trying to get this done early rather than last minute like the last couple days. Small-eyed. Also trying to decide what I want to do on my float fishing character today. This one's a decent fish. Probably below a kilogram, but probably pretty close. Nah, it's smaller. I just cut it on a dive. Up to 19.3% spin fishing. A little bit surprised the bottom rod hasn't done anything, but again, not the most ideal bait using worms. My experience down here for bottom fishing, chub tend to like grasshoppers, but I think grasshoppers are very difficult to find in the 30 pack. I think you have to buy the 300 or bigger pack, which we don't have the silver for at all, or crickets, and I can't remember if crickets are available here. A lot of times when I'm coming back here for big chub, it's going to be later levels. So I will have already been to Oldberg or Volkov. Volkov pretty much has anything and everything you want. But I'm pretty sure you have to be level 20 to get to Volkov. Yeah, level 20 for Volkov. So getting a bit of a nibble on the bottom rod, but not a full bite yet. Then got a pretty decent fish here. Definitely not a 3 kilogram, but looks like a pike. Nice little 700-gram pike. So today, hoping to get about 100 silver. We'll see. Now that 3.6 kilogram chub will definitely help that out. And then would love to get to level 11. We only need, what, 1,800, 1,700 experience points, 1,750 to level up there. Really looking for level 12. Level 12 opens up Belaya, which will open up some new fishing for us. And spin fishing at Belaya, it's another river like Winding Rivulet is. And spin fishing there can be very lucrative. But there's also some risks. There's some pretty big fish, some pretty strong fish there as well. There's taimans that can spool you pretty easily. So I wouldn't mind getting a better rod before we get out there, but we'll see. Marker eyed for 300 experience. Nice. As far as leveling up, we need 1,400 experience points. So I think that's very possible today. All right, I'm curious. Yeah, I didn't think there was a fish on. So again, you can press Y as in W as in Yankee and you reel it in. I'm actually gonna just reset this after the miss bite a second ago. With the bottom rod, if you watch my float fishing series at all, you know that you can get new baits by grinding up your bait harvesting. If you're looking for insects or things like that, you can buy those from the shop. But looking for the porridges, the doughs, those you can make from leveling up your bait harvesting. So we'll probably end up doing a little bit of that, but that's definitely not a high priority for me right now. I do want to get supplies to make our own food before we get to level 12 as well too, because while we can get free food here once a day, when we get to Belaya, we can't. So having tea and things like that would be a good thing.
Okay, but first you'll have to unlock your device.
Evidently, my phone thought I said something about Google. I don't know what I said that it thought that on. I don't know if you heard my phone talking back to me there. But it was asking me to unlock my device because evidently I said something that sounded enough like Google. So 10 fish. We got started, I want to say about 4 a.m. We've been going for 20 minutes, but definitely good bite rate down here. I've been happy about that. And pretty decent fish. We do have a fish on the bottom rod. I've got my spin rod on 3, but my bottom rod is to the right of me, and my brain was telling me that was button number 3, or it's actually set as button 2. So, and again, you can press U as in uniform, and then if you don't have a rod assigned to a spot, you can then drag it over into that spot. You get 5 spots without buying premium. You get 6 and 7 with premium, and you can put food or a shovel in 4 and 5. So when we make tea, I usually have that on 4, and if I'm grinding up bait harvesting, I'll have a shovel or a scoop on number 5. And if you haven't seen it, especially if you haven't watched the float fishing series, you can get a shovel to dig for worms, red worms. Later on, you can get another shovel to dig for night crawlers, and you can get a scoop to get clumps of algae to use as bait. And that uses energy to get that. So definitely worth it. Helps out your bait harvesting skills and gets you, ooh, Xander. That's the first Xander we caught. Nice. Leveling up your bait harvesting skills is a good thing. Unlocks new baits to use, and it's free bait or bait that food is cheaper than buying worms in the grocery store or buying worms at the tackle store here. So definitely worth it, especially if you're going to be float fishing or bottom fishing a lot. So again, I've got a bite on my bottom rod. I had my spin rod in the water. So I'm going to finish reeling in my spin rod before I pick up my bottom rod. You can have up to 3 rods out at any given time. Little small chub. So a lot of times I will fish with 2 bottom rods and a spin rod. So you can press 0 when you're holding the rod. Whoops, wrong rod. Did the 3 thing again. When you're holding the rod, you can press 0 to set it down. I actually have it mapped to a button on my mouse just to make it easier. Then you can look at the rod and you can see E will pick it up, Y will reel it in until it tightens up and jingles a little bit. You don't really want the end part, the little yellow part there is called a quiver tip. You don't want that to be pulled straight down or anything like that. You want it looking kind of like it is now. K will open or close the reel, so similar to when you cast out, you open the reel, you cast, and now if a fish grabs it, there's no resistance. Your friction brake is not engaged. So usually what I'll do is I will usually, when I cast a bottom rod, click once to just close the reel and then set the rod down and tighten it up with Y. As soon as you start tightening the rod up or the reel up with Y, it will, ooh, hello, good fish. It will close the bail as well too. This is another good fish, over a kilogram for sure. I didn't see it when it was jumping there. I was curious what we have on the line. But was using the rod to keep tension on, try and wear the fish out. Decent chub. 2 kilogram chub. Nice fish. I'm happy today. I don't want to cast this. Oh well. I don't think. Yeah, it's not actually on the bottom rod yet. Whatever it is kind of nibbling at the bottom rod or the feeder rod. Now it's on. Most likely either that or it just got loose enough that it's in the current. Now it's definitely on. So since we are fishing in the river, there is a current, and the 30-gram weight that comes with the feeder rod is enough to typically keep it on the bottom when it's tightened up. You can get a 15-gram weight here. The current's not super strong here at Winding Rivulet, so the 15-gram will be hit or miss whether it will float down the river even though it's hanging at the bottom of the river. You can get different shaped weights that are river weights. They're basically a pyramid that kind of dig into the silty, soft bottom of the river. But the 30-gram weight that comes with this rod is usually enough to keep it on the ground. Small little perch. And what I'm talking about is this sinker here. It's 30 grams. So we can probably actually cast this rod further if I took the clip off than anything we can do on our current spin rod. But like there, I went as hard as you can, and you saw how it got to 13 meters out and then kind of got to an end and kind of popped backwards. You don't really want that to happen. And if you look at the VK site or the forums or the Discord site, most people will use clip and location to tell you where they're fishing. So they'll give you, a 13 clip here. 15 clip. A lot of times 6, 8, 10, 13, 15 are the typical clips I see for the lower level lakes, water bodies. Doesn't have to be a lake. There's definitely something on the bottom rod. I think it's a small fish. Did it again. Press 3 to switch to my feeder rod. Nope, whatever's on it popped off. Didn't even get a fish, got away. Probably lifted it up enough that it got caught in the current for a little bit. And that's what made me think there was a fish on. You can get other means to notify you that there's a fish on. You can get a cowbell. You can get a siren if you want to put a rod down further away from where you're going to be. Or you could get a light that'll flash. But the twin bells that are on there are by far the cheapest method. Maximum total weight of fish caught in a day already. With not surprising since we caught a 2 kilogram and a 3.6. If you do a lot of bottom fishing, you kind of get used to the bells ringing. And a lot of times I'll put a cowbell on one of my rods as well too. Usually I'll put twin bells on left and right if I have 3 bottom rods and a cowbell on the center. That way you can hear which rod, especially if you're wearing headphones, you can hear which rod is jingling. Marker roach, not bad. And I am going to switch things around. I'm going to put my spin rod on 2 and my bottom rod on 3. Aligns more with what I'm used to. And if you watch my float fishing series, I've got 2 float rods and then the bottom rod on 3 as well too. So the brain keeps wanting to pick the bottom rod up by pressing 3 on the keyboard. About a half hour in, 17 fish. Definitely a good day. About 300 experience points, so a fish or 2 away from level 11. And a small... Ooh. So, we had a fish get on, and then we got a snag. I think this is one of the first snags we've had in this series. So, what you can do is you can get a little bit of tension on, and then right-click, and it will try to unsnag. A lot of people will press enter to unlock the bail and do it as well. And you can kind of whip your line a couple times like that. Let's go ahead and put this rod down. Let's get this fish in. Small roach. I'll take it. All right, let's see if we can unsnag this. So the other thing you can see is in the bottom, kind of at the center, there's that flashing red icon that lets you know you do have a snag. But right now I've got my friction brake pretty low. So let's go up to 20 and try again. Nothing. Ooh, that was close. You can break your reel or your line doing this, so you have to be careful. Don't know what I'm snagged on because I'm not really even by that tree out there. It's a weird place to get snagged. Let's try from this angle. Nope. And again, this reel is not very strong, so I'm not entirely surprised. So at this point, I'm going to say there are 3 options. We either break our line in our reel, keep trying to free it. You can hold X and you'll cut your line, but you'll lose your lure and part of your line and our leader. I don't really want to do this. Some people think this is exploitive, but you can either log out and log back in, or what I like to do, especially at lakes that are free of charge, is just travel to a different lake and you will get unstuck from where you were. So I'm going to go over to Mosquito. Let's go take a look at the cafe while we're here. See if there's anything worthwhile on it. I'm not expecting anything. The Chub would be nice, but I'm still trying to find a good spot here for Chub. So let's go ahead and go back over to Winding. And we'll see what we've got. And then I may just go to the spot a little upriver here. And I don't know. I haven't decided. So 5 small perch, 6 big perch. Unlikely on any of those. Don't think we got a 1 kilo hide. Nope. So far today in 35 minutes, 37 fish, or 37 silver worth of fish. As far as sorting by price, that 3.6 chub is only 14, so it's cheaper than I thought it was, unfortunately. That was 20, that would be nice, but 2 fish, 22 silver, 22 and a half silver right there. Not bad at all. So let's go ahead and just run back to where we were. It's not that far away. And things were going very well. Actually, let's sell and see if I can't buy some different bait to use. Since there's nothing that we're really saving up for. So 37 silver, most expensive fish we've ever caught with that big chub. So baits, insects, crickets are completely out of stock here, unfortunately. I probably should have checked at when we were down at mosquito, but grasshoppers are in stock for the 30 pack. So I'm going to grab a set of grasshoppers. And that leaves us with 27. Can I get a big happy hook? I can get a big happy hook. Good. So I like to use these happy hooks at an early level. Pretty good quality, which quality seems to help keep fish on the line. When I get a little bit higher level, I think these actually require level 12. Yeah, these require level 12. These are my favorite hooks that I use more than anything else. Just the way they are. They're all pretty good. Anything in this area is usually a pretty decent choice. But so I will go ahead and slap that, excuse me, slap that size 1 hook on and put a grasshopper on it. And we'll go ahead and put that back in our inventory. So 37 silver so far. Not likely going to hit 100 silver today unless we get a trophy. But having that bigger hook will help get bigger fish on the bottom line, bottom rod, but probably lower the bite rate. And that's size 1 is not the biggest hook you can get. You can actually get 1/0, 2/0, 3/0, 4/0. So that's 1/0 is what you'll see it as. I was pretty happy with where we were, so I'm going to go right back there. And take our bottom rod out. We should still be at a 13 clip. Put it in, tighten it up, and then cast our spin rod out. That one was weird where we had a fish on and then just suddenly snagged. Honestly wonder if the fish somehow swam into the ground literally. And then we were snagged on the bottom of the river, inside the river. I almost want to go back and watch that because that's what it seemed like to me. We had a fish on and then we're snagged. And really, unless there's an underwater tree or something that we can't see halfway out to that tree we actually see, I don't know what we got snagged on. All right, let's go ahead and throw the spiker out a few times down here. And it hooks into a reasonable fish right away. Probably less than a kilogram, but I won't say no. Ooh. It might be closer than I thought. My friction brake's higher than I thought it was. Just short of a kilogram, but that did get us up to level 9. Or level 11. Level 9. Come on, Tucker. That did get us up to level 11, so another 337 experience points. Evidently, level 11 did give us... What did it give us? It gave us a new rod, a new reel. I'm going to have to look at this. I did not expect this at all. New rod, new reel, some line, and another spinner. I thought level 10 was the last one of those we were going to get. So this is the rod. Yeah, this is the rod we just got. It's another light rod. Load capacity of 5 kilograms, so it's bigger than what we currently have. Test is 3 to 10, so it'll still use the same lures. Sorry, my brain's processing this. It'll still use the same lures that we have been using. And then it's got a Hydra on it, so it's got a small reel on it. But this might change up the next step plans that I was thinking on, because now we got a reasonable rod, a 5 kilogram rod that I will say I did not expect this. So it did come with 5.2 kilogram line, so a little bit higher than the capacity of the rod. But so no leader on it, free lure that's on it. Let's just see what happens. Hook to fish. I did not expect this. I don't know how long I've been muted. I don't know when I muted. Crap, I may have to go back and record. I gotta look at that. So we did just get a free rod. There may be future Tucker doing some recording on top of that. I just looked up at OBS and saw I was muted, and I don't know when I muted. I'm wondering if my mute button is my center mouse button, middle mouse button. And I wonder if when I was setting retrieval speed or something like that, that's what I'm hoping I did, so it wouldn't have been too bad. So no leader on this. I did switch over to our nighttime Aquila just to see what we get. But definitely did not expect to get a free rod or level 11. So might change things up long term. Gonna have to do some thinking and research now on what reel I would really put on this, because the 2.7 is probably a little bit light for a 5 kilogram capacity rod. So I will throw the other line in the water, the same rod and reel we have been using that has the leader on it, with this same lure on it here in a second and see what happens. But we did hook something small here. Tiny eyed. So let's switch back over to the rod and reel we have been using. Put the same Aquila on it. Definitely have something on the bottom rod. Another roach. Decent roach, though. And there's a good example of casting full power, and the line got to my 13-meter clip, and then actually probably came back in a meter when it kind of bounced back from hitting that 13-meter clip. So it is getting to be nighttime here in game. Nighttime's not the best for spin fishing. So I may go ahead and wrap it up here today. Still surprised we got a free rod and reel. I kind of like that though. And I'm glad we leveled up on a spin fish rather than a bottom fish. Although we might have gotten a good bottom rod. I don't know. Again, they completely redid the new player experience when we started this character. That's part of why I started this character. And that whole first 10 levels thing is brand new. But nice little 1 kilo chub here. But reel's a little undersized. Line is not. So we would just need another reel. It can only use 1 in 2,000 sized reels, so it's interesting. I don't even know what reel I might put on this. I'd have to go look. This is actually a decent fish. I know it doesn't look like we're putting as much tension on, but that's because the line can support more weight. So to say, with it jumping around, it feels like an asp. So 900 gram asp, 700 experience points. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. It's just after midnight in game. So I'm going to go ahead and reel everything in. We'll go sell the 6 additional fish we got. And then I got to go see when I muted myself earlier when we got the free rod. So see if I need to record some commentary on top of that. Won't get my completely surprised commentary if that's the case, but we'll see. I'm still amazed that we got a free rod and reel. May do a quick look at the tackle store and see if there's anything obvious that would go well for about a 5 kilogram size 2000. So these 6 fish, my guess is 12 to 15 silver. Probably closer to 12. Yeah, definitely closer to 12 with only 3 markers. Almost right at 12. So 4 silver, 4.5 silver for the 1.1 kilogram chub. 3 silver for the just shy of 1 kilo chub. Roach was worth 3 silver as well too. So another 11.83. So 37 and 11, really 12. So 39.49, about 50 silver today. Not a bad day. Plus a free rod and reel. It is after midnight, so I'll grab food. And if we go look at spinning reels, so for a max drag of 5 kilos, that's a 3,000. The Element 2000 will get up to 3.6. Adriatica's a 3,000. Element Pro 2000 will get up to 3.6. Dragon's a 3,000. So you can get a 4 for about 400. Pegasus 5. Nope, that's a 3,000. 3.7, 3.6, 3.6, 3.2. But we're also getting up to 700. 3.8. And I'm not seeing a good 5 kilogram 2000 reel. Alpha at 4, but 1,000 silver for it. Definitely not going to happen. It only has 1, 3. Yeah, I don't know. Gonna have to think through that because at least getting like an Element 2000 would probably be in our best interest. What did it even come with? I'm not seeing the little green icon that shows we own any of these. Hydra Smart 25S. That came with a reel that's not even for sale. Or I'm blind and just completely missing it. Hydra G2? No. There, Hydra Smart. Yeah, here it is. Just doesn't show we own it. Should be a 3.4. Am I just misreading it? Interesting. So I'm guessing it's got a modified friction brake. So we haven't really talked about this in this series, but you can modify your reels with different components. So if you come over here to the workshop and enter it without the reel on a rod, you can pick it up. So you can replace a mechanism, you can replace the ball bearings. When those get down to usually about 10 to 15%, I like to replace it because then that's when you really feel it. But for these that say choose an analog, you can replace the components. So it's got a 2.7 on. It typically comes with this 3.4. Or you can upgrade to a 3.6 for 23 silver. So that might actually be what we end up doing. But when you do that, it is going to take one in-game day of not having the reel. You have to be logged in for a 24-hour in-game period. It doesn't have to be consecutive, so you can log in for 4 hours in-game, log in for 4 hours, but you will not be able to pick this reel up for one in-game day while you are logged in. If you log out, the time doesn't tick up. So that might be what we do. And in fact, that is going to be what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and replace that, get that up to 3.6. And I think that's going to be what I'm going to use. So do appreciate everyone watching today. We did get up to level 11. We did get a free rod and reel, and we upgraded that, and we caught our first few fish on our feeder rod as well too, and got some additional equipment for that. So definitely appreciate everyone watching. I got to go back and see when I muted myself earlier. Hopefully not too long into it, but hope everyone has a good day, and we'll see you all later. Have a good one.